Hey everyone, I'm Jody Kolbee, and this is the first session of hashtag What's Your Story. And today, what we're talking about is managing expectations and avoiding disappointment. Now, this applies for both business and interpersonal relationships, so listen up. Now, I've got a saying that I tell myself and my clients all the time, all right? Expectations are dangerous when you allow them to run wild and unchecked. You've got to leash them or you will be at their mercy. All right, that's a given. You've got to set boundaries, you've got to set expectations up front, or otherwise things get lost in translation. Now, it's a sad reality that most relationships fail due to unrealistic expectations and a lack of communication. And that applies, in romantic relationships or business relationships. And we start asking ourselves, well, why did it fail? Why does it fail so often with a lack of communication when everybody knows that's the most obvious answer? Here's the thing. In the beginning, we are, lost in the euphoria of something new and a new connection, business or otherwise, that we project then on the other person what we envision and what we want, without truly bringing that other person into the fold about where we stand and what we want. We fail to set the correct expectations, and so we allow the other person to make assumptions for themselves. Dangerous, I know. Then what happens is later on in the relationship, we inadvertently set an unrealistic expectation, either because we're performing too well, to somehow overcompensate because we really want this to work out. But then to the other party, the assumption becomes that that level of performance is the norm. We've got to stop doing that. Stop doing it. All right? Here's a perfect example of how someone in a business relationship ends up becoming a victim of unrealistic expectations. All right? I had a fellow industry professional and a client come to me asking whether they were becoming too demanding by asking the client to conform to a 2 to 3 day lead time to complete some design work. And although up till now they've been delivering things on the same day or the next day, which realistically is not standard industry practice, at least not without a serious additional fee, like a rush fee or something. So, in terms of that scenario, two things went wrong. The first is that an expectation was not communicated by the designer, and therefore the client was left to make up their own expectations for the designer's service levels. Big problem for the designer, yes. The second thing that went wrong was that the designer kept delivering on an unrealistic expectation that they were not easily able to claw back their time and therefore their value of their service. It's difficult to reset bad behavior. Now, you may be asking, where did this really all go sideways? Well, often there are 3 points where this type of thing goes sideways. The first one is fear. Fear because we feel we are going to break this delicate relationship before it's even begun. The second is a lack of confidence because we feel we are not worthy of owning our value and making demands, on our own expectations. And finally, we're just too comfortable. We're so used to doing things the way we do it on a day-to-day basis that it becomes second nature to us. And we assume that our expectations should be perfectly obvious to the other person. We assume that what we're doing on a day-to-day basis is the norm and that, goodness, everyone should know this. Wrong. There are no mixed signals or mixed messages in a relationship. You've got to vocalize your expectations about whatever this relationship is, that you own your own part of your story. And that's it. You've got to learn to take control of your expectations, set the boundaries up front, both in business and in interpersonal relationships, so that you can govern your own time and be the narrator to your own story. Otherwise, you are allowing someone else to lead the level of success you are able to attain. And that's it for this session of What's Your Story? And I'm looking forward to hearing some of your comments. So by all means, please comment on this post or on the podcast as well. Some more podcasts will be released next week and the week thereafter. And by the end of the month, they'll be available on my website, jodykolbee.co.za. I'm looking forward to hearing some of your feedback. So if you could tell me what's going wrong in your interpersonal relationships? Where are you failing, even in business with setting boundaries, driving SLA, and all of those things? Talk to me. I'm keen to hear what's your story. Thanks so much. I'm Jody Kolbee, and I look forward to the next one.